I want to thank those of you who have watched the video that I did the last time, just talking about my story. I'm Dr. Andre Williams. I'm an integrative oncologist here in Jamaica. And today we're going to talk about 5 steps to take if you have cancer. 5 steps that you need to take to get your head in the right space to face the journey ahead of you. I've seen so many patients already who have healed. They've actually come out on the other end of their journey and they're a little bit puzzled because they're wondering, I actually didn't plan to live this long. Everything that I was told suggested that I wouldn't make it this far, but yet here I am. And so they come out on the other end almost by accident, not having been mentally prepared for it. And of course, we all know people who have really struggled with knowing what to do if you've been told that you have cancer. So here are the 5 steps that I would take if I were you. Number 1, you have to figure out the path that you're going to take. So whatever that path looks like for you, get good advice, look at all the information available, find reliable information and people who can monitor your progress. And once you have figured out the path that you want to take on this journey of healing from cancer, you stick with it. Don't allow anybody to introduce to you the latest fad or the latest technique that they have heard about or read about, because different people will have different pieces of advice for you and all of it will be contradictory. And if you try to please everybody, what you're going to end up doing is just confusing yourself. So you're going to find one path, get the best possible advice, and ensure that you have a medical professional or some sort of professional who is following you, whether it be chemotherapy, whether it be naturopathic. Make sure that a professional is monitoring your progress and then stick with it no matter what. Step number 2 is that you're going to ensure that you remove all negativity from your life. And negativity takes different forms. So it can be external negativity. It could be people around you who are saying, hey, I feel so sorry for you, or oh my goodness, you're not going to make it. Let's prepare for your funeral. Maybe even worse. Maybe they're saying, hey, I'm really glad that this happened to you. And so people who mean you no good. But at the same time, there can be people who do mean you good, but because they're so overwhelmed by your situation, their degree of anxiety is not what you need in your space. So that takes care of the external negativity. Within yourself, though, one of the strongest things that I've found emotionally for my patients is the need to resolve emotions of the past. So difficult negative experiences that you've endured, you need to find a good technique that will help you to address the negative experience of the past and to free your body from that negative energy. One of the best things that you can do, of course, is to talk about forgiveness. And forgiveness is a powerful concept. I actually have a book that I'm going to write soon. By the time you're watching this, it may very well be listed below, the link to that book. And you need to know how to forgive and allow the body to position itself for healing. So number 3 is that you really have to find a way to follow this sentence. Live today, not tomorrow. Because the beauty of today is that today is what you have. Today is what you're holding right now. And the only thing you can ever really do is to live the best today you have. So you have no control over tomorrow. And the truth is, by the time tomorrow comes, it's going to be today. So I find that many of my patients, the hardest thing for them to do is to simply just live today. I give them the instructions for what they need to do to heal. And it's really just about each day waking up, doing the best you can for that day to get your body in the position to heal. And then at the end of the day, you go to sleep. While you're sleeping, the body will do what it has to do. I've had so many people who have healed on accident, so to speak, in that they've been so focused on tomorrow. Sometimes they mess up today and yet they still heal. But what you don't want is to reach all the way out to whatever timeline you were given to live and then be caught off guard because you just didn't really plan to be here at this time. And you'd have wasted all of those months, sometimes even years, expecting to die when the truth is that your body was healing. So in the meantime, you could have written a book, you could have created a whole journal, you could have created some videos like I'm doing here for your children or your relatives to watch. Where in the time of COVID, as I record this, you could have written a journal about COVID for your grandchildren to read. And if you have a hobby, you could have perfected that hobby. So really, you need to find a way to live today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is out there. It will always be out there. For the rest of your life, you'll be chasing tomorrow, but you always have today. So what you really want to do is to live today, because tomorrow is going to be ahead of you all the time. There's no way you can get away from that. Those are the storms of tomorrow, potentially, but right now you're living in today. So this little illustration I thought was cool. It's my reflection in a pane of glass. And it tells you that, listen, you can't live tomorrow. You just cannot. So live today, do the best you can for today, and just keep doing that every single day. Keep focused. So, step number 4, you have to get your rest. It makes no sense preparing your body to heal, doing all of these things. In my case, my patients are doing their diet, they're doing their coffee enemas, they're doing different healing techniques, they're addressing their emotions, but yet some of my patients refuse to just rest. And rest is critical if you're going to heal. What's the point of doing all of this work and then still not leaving space for the body to heal? So you need to take a careful look at your schedule, look at what needs to be done, what's important and what's urgent, look at what can be delegated, what people can help you with, because there's always going to be people. Remember step 2, there's always going to be people around you who are going to want to give you advice on what needs to be done. Some of these people you can give the tasks of some of the things you would normally have to do, and they'll feel like they're helping you, and you'll get the chance to just rest. All right, so step 5. And step 5 is closely linked to step 1. By the way, I am in the middle of halfway tree right now, the transport center. This is the bustling city of Kingston, and I'm in halfway tree, which is what most people call the capital of Kingston, though it's not. Anyway, so step 5 is closely linked to step 1, and step 1, as you'll recall, was to find a path that you think seems right for you, find somebody experienced enough to guide you along that path, and then stick with that path no matter what. And what step 5 says is that you're going to ensure that you do routine reassessments. So the most frustrating thing for me is to see somebody who has chosen a path, they're not sure if it's really helping, or they convince themselves that it's helping without any real evidence. And then they come to me when I can clearly see that they've gotten worse, but they just didn't reassess themselves. The most common example of that is people who have done so-called alternative treatments, many times not being properly monitored by anybody. And then they'll come to me saying that they just don't feel good. They haven't made any effort to get any reassessment, and then they're surprised when things are not going well. Halfway tree clock, middle of halfway tree, guys. I'm gonna switch lanes here. Yeah, but step 5 is really about taking responsibility for your own reassessment, because you would hate to know that after following a path for too long you had not gotten reassessed, and then when you're finally reassessed by somebody you find out that you actually had not gotten better. So instead of just blindly following the path with no reassessment, how about you actually reassess yourself and see if it is working? And then the beauty of it is, then having done that, you would then be able to go back to step 1, which is having reassessed and knowing where you're at. You then choose whether you're going to stay on the same path, you're going to switch to another path, and see if that works. But again, you're going to ensure that whatever you choose to do at this point, you give it your 100% and don't allow yourself to be swayed from it. So step 5 feeds back into step 1. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so that's it. We went through all the different steps, and I'm always eager to hear from you. If you can think of another step that I may have missed, something that you would recommend for somebody who is going through cancer or who has a relative who is going through cancer, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. And as usual, I'm going to ask you to like, to subscribe, and to share with somebody who you think might be able to benefit from this information. And I'm hoping to give you another video soon. Bless you.